Nobody wants to pay more for taxes, much less Medicare tax. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's called IRMAA, or Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amounts for Medicare premiums. It's basically saying that, hey, if you made too much money, they're actually going to tax you more for your Medicare. So we've got to figure out ways that you can reduce that so that you're not having to pay any extra tax. Also look at the brackets to figure out where you will fall to make sure that you're not going into a higher bracket, because they actually have it built a lot like a tax bracket, but it's for the Medicare IRMAA income brackets to make sure that we keep you under that. So that's what we'll take a look at. Also, if you found my pension video helpful recently and you're coming back from that, we've been thinking about doing a live class for pensions. If that's something that you would be interested and find helpful, let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to see what your thoughts are there. So let's go ahead and take a look here at Medicare and reducing Medicare premiums. There's different qualifying events that the Social Security office says will help to possibly reduce this. So if you have one of these things happen, marriage, divorce, death of a spouse, work stoppage or reduction, loss of income producing property, loss of pension income, or an employer settlement or settlement payment, any of those are qualifying things that could help you to contest or appeal what the Medicare premiums currently are. So that's something that you'll want to think through and figure out. Now, with that though, there's the brackets that I had mentioned a minute ago, and that's what I want to talk about, because I actually reached out to the Medicare office to find an answer for a client on something. And, there's nothing. I've scoured the internet everywhere. I could not find any supporting documentation on the IRMAA tax brackets on what I'm going to show you in a second. So I looked all over the internet, nothing was found. I called the Medicare office, they sent me to the Social Security office. I wasted an hour for you to try to find this answer. The one downfall was I said, well, give me some supporting documentation. Where can I find this? And they said, there's nowhere you can find it. And I said, well, then how do I know? And they directly told me, because we told you so. So that's the Social Security office for you and what I got for you. But let's just take a look here at these IRMAA brackets. Let me explain how this works. So the 2023 premiums. So if you are 65 years old and you're filing for Medicare, then basically as long as you keep your income at $97,000 or below modified adjusted gross income, then you pay the standard $164.90 for Medicare Part B coverage. Now, then if you are married filing jointly, it's $194,000 or below there. Same concept. But if you step into this higher bracket here of $97,000 to $123,000 or $194,000 to $246,000, you're going to pay $65.90 more every single month on your Medicare premium. That's that IRMAA penalty or IRMAA tax that comes into play. Now, the higher your income is, the more they are going to take. It's always the more you make, the more they take. So with that though, what I want to explain and what I want to break down for you is, let's say and give you an example of you are 63 years old. If you are 63 currently and you are going to be filing for Medicare at age 65, they do what's called a 2-year look back. They aren't looking at your current tax situation, because if you're filing in 2025, you haven't even filed your taxes for 25, and you might not have filed for 2024. And so they're wanting to say, all right, we're going to do a 2-year look back to look at what your income was, and that will determine things. That's where everything comes from when it comes to trying to save money here, and what I wanted to find out for this client. And so what we were trying to figure out, because if you look here again, your income is $194,000 or less, well, then you don't have any penalty. And so that would be, let's say in 2023 and you're 63 years old, that's what we're looking at. Now, what happens though if you're over that amount in 2023, but you're not filing for Medicare until 2025? Do they use these brackets of 2023, or do they use the 2025 brackets? Well, per the Social Security office, and because they told me so, they told me directly they are going to use the 2025 brackets to determine whether or not your income from 2023 will have an IRMAA penalty. Hope that makes sense. Little confusing, but the basis is they haven't released the 2025 brackets. But if you're 63 right this second and you say, wow, well, I made $205,000, well, you can look at 2024 and you can say, perfect. Well, I'm under that for 2024. So in 2025, they're not going to go down It will all be inflation adjusted as to how much they go up though. So you want to make sure you provide a little bit of a safety net for yourself, because if inflation isn't that high, there may not be that big of a jump from 2024 to 2025 brackets. So using 2024 brackets for 2025 isn't a bad thing. So if we're looking here at this and we try to really break this down, and your scenario may be a little bit different, but in just the general scenarios, you've got to think through what your income would be at age 63 and then look at 2024 to figure this out. As I said, if it's $200,000 here, well, you're going to be in the higher bracket in 23, but guess what? You're okay because it's not going to stick. You have the ability here to go into the new bracket. So just knowing that will allow you the opportunity to potentially make more money right this second. Also, you could do more conversions up to this next limit or threshold there. So it gives you some flexibility to make sure you're not paying more in premiums. Now, if you're looking at all of this and you say, well, how am I going to prove to the government, because they do the 2-year look back, that my income has changed? Let's go back then to everything when it comes to reducing the Medicare premiums and figuring out what is a life-changing event. How can you contest this? Well, the government has some websites for you. You can go to the ssa.gov and find this whole breakdown on who to call and what to do. Now, good luck with that, because when I called, as I said, 1 hour of time just on hold. So be sure to set aside most of your day to hopefully get an answer. 1-800-772-1213 is what you can call to be able to appeal things if you had one of these life-changing events and you're wanting to make sure that they're not using the inaccurate numbers for you. Now, you can also use this form. It's SSA-44. This is the form you're going to use. The Social Security office directly said, though, you want to make sure you're using the most up-to-date form. So if you're doing that, make sure you're using the proper form here. You will have to fill in all of your data to look at what you're doing here, as you've got the type of life-changing event to make that appeal to them. And then you can fill in all of your info. Make sure you have your adjusted gross income. Contact your CPA if you're having trouble figuring that out, making sure you have the exact numbers on this. Fill all of this information out and then get it to the Social Security's office. Pray that they get back to you some timely manner. But that's one way that you're going to be able to appeal this. Also, just remember with the brackets, you can work with that and try to figure out what's going to be best for you to keep your premiums lower. I hope this video helped. If it did, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.